The general returned from the campaign, bringing back a woman. Rumors swirled that she was his long-cherished white moonlight, the one etched in his heart. Everyone was waiting for the drama to unfold. But then I suddenly heard his inner thoughts. What do I do? What do I do? My darling seems angry. Your husband was wrong. Your husband will immediately execute Deputy General Song, who came up with this terrible idea.
Welcome to a journey of love and destiny under the moonlight. I'm the voice behind Moonlit Love Stories. Now let us step into the story.
The courtyard was silent. I almost thought I was hallucinating. The atmosphere was tense. No one dared to make a sound. The frontier north is cold and bitter. For this past year, through wind, frost, rain, and harsh conditions, it was Ninger who accompanied me. By reason and by emotion, I should give Ninger a status. At the banquet tonight, I will request His Majesty to bestow Ninger upon me as a noble concubine. The princess has always been understanding. Surely you can comprehend my position, right? The young general still wore his brocade and flowing cloud armor. His waist was lean, his muscles powerful, his brows sharp, his features coldly handsome. When his gaze fell on me, it was hard and icy, just like the man himself, sharp and seemingly heartless. Yet in the next instant, I heard his voice again. Ching, Ching, I miss you so much. I want to rush over and hug my Ching Ching. If I say this, Ching Ching will definitely get angry, right? Come on, hit me. Yell at me. As long as Ching Ching gets angry, I'll immediately kneel and kowtow to apologize. Me? I stared at Lu Yunjing's face, which was as aloof, cold, and haughty as ever, even completely unruffled, and felt somewhat dazed. Only after confirming that I was indeed hearing his inner thoughts did I finally snap back to reality. Certainly. I smiled before the crowd filling the courtyard. The general has achieved great merits on this campaign, and Miss Qianing is undoubtedly also deserving of credit. This princess will arrange the finest residence for her. How about the Xiangya court, adjacent to the general's Songzhu court? Boom! The onlookers were collectively shocked, jaws dropping. In the deathly silence, Lu Yunjing's gaze turned icy, staring fixedly at me. His deep pitch-black eyes shooting cold light. He gritted his teeth and spat out the words. Very well indeed. After saying this, he directly led the woman inside. The woman was dressed in purple, leaning against his side as if boneless, presenting a pitiful, delicate appearance. As she passed by me, her eyes held a distinct challenge. The moment I stepped aside, I caught the pleasant scent of hyacinth on the man. And also, the nearly brain-shattering wailing. Wah! She really doesn't love me. I hate Ching Ching. I've decided not to speak to her for 3 days. No 1 day. No 1 hour. Watching the man's tall, broad-backed figure, the corner of my mouth twitched. I am Princess Wen Yuan of Great Yan Shanqing. Lu Yunjing is the son of the current guardian general of the dynasty. And I knew that Lu Yunjing, since childhood, preferred wielding swords and spears and had no liking for delicate, simpering women. Many years ago, I had hidden under the corridor eaves and accidentally witnessed him very harshly rejecting my third younger sister, who had a secret crush on him and had come to deliver a handkerchief. That Lu Yunjing showed no mercy. Third princess, this general's lifelong ambition lies in fighting enemies on the battlefield. I have no interest in affected women like you. This general does not like you now, and will never like you in the future. I hope the third princess abandons this hope. His attitude was freezing, his tone callous. It left everyone present sighing. Third younger sister covered her face with her handkerchief and ran off crying. After that, no noble daughters in the capital dared to admire the young General Lu. Later, the late emperor bestowed the marriage. On the wedding night, after the bridal veil was lifted, Lu Yunjing's dark, deep eyes stared at me for a long time, finally leaving only with the words, "The night is deep, princess should rest early," before leaving the bridal chamber. For the following year, he and I lived in separate rooms, rarely meeting. We only occasionally saw each other at palace banquets. That he didn't like me, I was well aware. Until a year later, when war broke out in the northern frontier, and he received the decree at the Golden Hall to lead the troops on the campaign. On the day of his triumphant return, the capital was abuzz. They all said that this woman was the white moonlight he had longed for but couldn't obtain all these years. Only, hindered by imperial dignity, He had been forced to conceal it under the princess's tyranny, until now, with military merits to his name, he dared to reveal her before others. There were also rumors. Young General Lu's request for deployment on the campaign back then was precisely to leverage his achievements, to divorce the princess and legitimately marry his beloved. This sentiment was set to move heaven and earth, worthy of song and tears. Even I almost believed it. On the evening of Lu Yunjing's triumphant return, the young emperor held a palace banquet. Amidst the congratulations from the ministers, the young emperor called for dancers to perform. The dancers were graceful and alluring, and all the court officials praised them. Lu Yunjing held fine wine in a crystal cup, his dark eyes deep, like a splendid solitary tree, his gaze also seemingly rippling with amazement and fascination. Next instant, the familiar voice sounded. A bunch of vulgar painted faces, not half as beautiful as my Qingqing. Me? ? I glanced sideways at him. The man's eyes still held that indulgent, pleasure-seeking demeanor, but his voice was exceedingly picky. These arms look like they have no meat. Wouldn't they snap with one pull? My Qingqing is much more comfortable to hold. I coughed lightly, somewhat uncomfortable, and took a sip of wine. Sigh, but I haven't gotten to hold Qingqing once since returning. I feel so wronged, so awful. I really want to do the deed with Qingqing. 2 years apart, it should be at least 2 days and 2 nights. No, still need to hold back a bit. Can't wear Qingqing out right after returning. Cough, cough, cough. A mouthful of peach blossom wine caught in my throat. My cheeks felt burning hot. Qingqing's cheeks are so red, so pretty. I wondered. He clearly wasn't looking at me, so how did he notice my flushed face? Amidst the toasting and drinking, a court official looked towards Lu Yunjing. I heard General Lu brought back a woman from his campaign. Then, General, how do you think these dancers compare to that woman? Lu Yunjing twirling his wine cup, the curve of his lips not diminishing. Naturally, they are no match. The laughter around grew louder. It seems this woman holds a special place in the general's heart. Censor Song teased further. Then, if this woman is compared to the princess? The entire hall suddenly fell silent. The atmosphere tightened. Ministers glanced at each other. The young emperor seated high above furrowed his brows. I lightly raised an eyebrow, and Lu Yunjing's eyes instantly sharpened like a hawk's, fierce and cold. A warm, clear and melodious voice suddenly rang out. How could a lowly woman of unknown origin from the lower classes be worthy of mention in the same breath as the princess? I looked towards the source of the voice. The speaker was the only non-imperial surnamed prince in Great Yan, Prince Ming Shanhuaiji. Unlike Lu Yunjing's resolute and powerful aura, Shanhuaiji, dressed in white robes, was inherently refined, like a clear breeze and bright moon, his entire being exuding a gentle warmth. He was the most prestigious prince in Great Yan, and even more, the most respected sir among the common people. He opened schools, established businesses, managed flood control, provided disaster relief. Noble and virtuous, benevolent and wise. Not inferior in brilliance to the bright moon. Meeting my gaze, he raised his cup slightly towards me with a faint smile, his eyes clear and gentle. The hall was filled with voices of praise and agreement. Shen Huaiji then suddenly looked at Lu Yunjing. Does General Lu think so? Lu Yunjing looked up at Shen Huaiji. The man held his wine cup, his eyes slightly narrowed, his deep pools of eyes threatening to suffocate. Beneath Shen Huaiji's usually gentle gaze lurked an indescribable storm. Of course. Lu Yunjing suddenly laughed softly, looking at me. The princess is of noble birth, peerlessly beautiful and immensely talented, a rare find in this world. Fortunately, Lu was the quickest to act. To have the princess as my wife is a blessing I cultivated over 3 lifetimes. It's just that my wife is too beautiful, always attracting the admiration of petty men. Lu occasionally find it quite bothersome. Shen Huaiji's brows tightened slightly. Lu Yunjing brought a cup of peach blossom wine to my lips. I paused, raising an eyebrow, then drank it. By my ear I heard the voice again. Humph. Piss you off, piss you off. Let you constantly lust after my Qingqing. Lucky I was faster than him. Back then, I knelt before the late emperor for 3 days and 3 nights, directly securing the imperial decree for marriage. Me? Geh. Good heavens. Such a massive revelation? After the palace banquet ended, The emperor younger brother punished censor Song and promoted Lu Yunjing in rank and nobility, bestowing 10,000 taels of gold as a reward. In the carriage back to the general's manor, my mind was chaotically thinking about Lu Yunjing's words at the banquet. Shen Huaiji lusted after me? Since when? How did I not know? While I was pondering this inexplicably, Lu Yunjing seemed extremely tired, dozing off with his eyes closed. But I knew. He wasn't asleep at all. Not only was he not asleep, he was also very noisy. Qingqing is sleeping. If I secretly hold Qingqing's hand, she probably won't notice, right? Qingqing's hand is so soft and tender, just like Qingqing's body. Will Qingqing get angry? What if Qingqing gets angry? Forget it. This general isn't even afraid of charging into battle. How can I be afraid of her? Lu Yunjing's large hand stealthily stretched over towards here. I withdrew my hand resting on the carriage edge. Didn't manage to hold it. Qingqing moved away. Qingqing actually moved away. I rubbed my temples pretending to rest. But I didn't expect Lu Yunjing to mutter incessantly in his heart the entire way. Just when I thought he was finally going to rest, he started again. Qingqing looks so beautiful even when sleeping. I wish I could kiss her. How about pretending to be drunk? From this table to that table, if I lean over at an angle, it should be just right. Then I can take the opportunity to hold her waist. The man seemed somewhat nervous, his breathing heavy, his strong, powerful physique slowly leaning over towards this side. Princess General, we've arrived. I abruptly stood up. Thump. The moment I lifted the curtain to get out of the carriage, I heard the sound of a forehead hitting something hard inside. The maid looked suspicious. What happened to the general? I curled my lips. Never mind him. Just arriving at the manor gate, I saw a light purple figure. Qianing was waiting early at the entrance, like a stone expecting her husband's return. Seeing Lu Yunjing get out of the carriage, she stepped forward eagerly and said softly, "General, you're back?" Lu Yunjing rubbing his forehead, his face extremely dark. The night wind is cold, General, please don't catch a chill. Qianing draped a cloak over Lu Yunjing. Did His Majesty blame you for our matter? If His Majesty blamed you, this humble one would be guilty beyond redemption. The atmosphere was awkward for a moment. Lu Yunjing remembered that he had completely forgotten about this matter. Qianing looked up. General. The man came back to his senses, glancing subtly in my direction. He cleared his throat, his deep, authoritative voice even more resounding in the night wind. This general taking a concubine does not require reporting to His Majesty. Qianing wept with joy. I stopped walking and looked back. Lu Yunjing looked at me, his eyes dark and icy. Does the princess have something to say? Qingqing is going to get angry. Qingqing is definitely going to get angry. I knew it. Qingqing must have me in her heart. The night wind lifted the man's cloak. I curved my eyes slightly, speaking unhurriedly. Such a small matter need not trouble the general. Arranging concubines for one's husband is originally the duty of a wife. This princess will arrange for someone to select an auspicious date to welcome Miss Qianing into the household, ensuring she is not wronged in the slightest. Meeting Lu Yunjing's gaze, which felt like it could cut my throat, I added, "However, since the general has found a beautiful concubine to attend to him, this princess can rest assured. The princess manor has been busy lately, so this princess will not disturb the general further here at the general's manor. The general must remember to take care of your health, not overexert yourself, lest you exhaust your body." After speaking, the man seemed unprepared, his eyes wide as he stared at me. I directly ordered the maid to prepare a carriage to the princess manor. As the carriage moved further away, my ears were filled with the man's deafening roar. "Qingqing, don't go, what your husband was wrong. Your husband was really wrong. Your husband will kneel on the washboard for you. Your husband will kneel by the bed for you. Qingqing, come back." Wah! I moved to the princess manor and stayed there for over a month. During this month, rumors of the complete breakdown of the relationship between the princess and the general, and their impending divorce, spread throughout the streets and alleys. Word of mouth. It seemed truer than truth. Large and small gambling houses started taking bets, wagering on whether the princess and the general would divorce, and when. Many nobles, wealthy families, and merchants placed huge bets. I heard about it and found it quite interesting, and ordered Inoue to place a bet as well. Actually, even I had originally thought that my marriage to Lu Yunjing was an ill-fated match forced by my late father. After all, Lu Yunjing's infuriating attitude back then made it seem like marrying me was akin to someone killing his mother. I truly never expected. This marriage was something he knelt for 3 days and 3 nights to obtain. He was quite the actor. For a full month, news came from the general's manor. Sometimes that Lu Yunjing had bought out a certain shop in Chang'an for Qianing, other times that Lu Yunjing and Qianing reveled in drink and song every night. And Lu Yunjing did not appear before me. However, according to reports from the secret guards, Lu Yunjing came to the vicinity of the princess manor almost every day, standing there for a quarter of an hour, hesitating at the door, but not daring to enter. Once he was even mistaken for a sneaky thief and chased away. Who knows what sickness he had? I heard this and just smiled faintly without comment. Finally, when he heard that the young emperor, indignant, was about to draft an edict for the princess's divorce, he could no longer restrain himself. While the maid whispered the report in my ear, I was lazily reclining on a soft couch, stroking the cat in my arms with my nail-polished fingertips. Hearing this, I lazily waved my hand. Let him wait in the front courtyard. Then I put down the cat and went to the front courtyard. A month apart, Lu Yunjing looked somewhat unshaven, his whole appearance somewhat haggard. Seeing me appear, his eyes suddenly lit up. But meeting my gaze, his face instantly reverted to its habitual coldness. Princess Wen Yuan, you have kept me waiting. Me. This man, this sickness. Needs treatment. I ignored him and had the maid serve tea. For what matter has the general come here? Wah! Of course I want to get close to Qingqing. This past month has felt even longer than the 2 years in the northern frontier. Darling Qingqing, your husband misses you so much. Your husband missed you to death. Your husband dreams only of my Qingqing. His cold, profound eyes stared at me. I came to remind the princess that the royal prayer ceremony is in half a month. The ceremonial robes are being prepared. At that time, the princess must not forget. Thank you for the reminder, General. I lifted my eyes slightly. If the general has no other matters, this princess is tired. Inoue, see the general out. Lu Yunjing was stunned. He stood still as if a breath was stuck in his throat, neither going up nor down. After a moment, his throat seemed to thicken, his face turning purple. General, please. Inoue prompted appropriately. Lu Yunjing looked at me fixedly, finally having to leave with a dark face, his body stiff. Just arrived and already driving me away. Does Qingqing really not want to see me that much? Qingqing really doesn't want me anymore, wah? Maybe I should just kneel and apologize to Qingqing directly. Would she forgive me then? The man's figure was tall and heroic, noble and extraordinary, yet his figure seemed indescribably desolate and lonely, forlorn and solitary. Like a abandoned puppy. Even Inoue found it pitiful. However, I just raised an eyebrow thinking, at this moment, would Lu Yunjing actually lower his stance and turn back to apologize? I watched him step over the threshold extremely slowly and with difficulty. I watched the hem of his robe flutter. Just as he was about to turn back, suddenly a young maid hurried in, bowing her head and reported, Princess, His Majesty issued a decree this morning, bestowing upon you 50 male companions. They have now arrived at the front courtyard. The steward sent me to ask, where should these male companions be placed? Me. Lu Yunjing abruptly turned his head back instantly. I unexpectedly met the man's intense, dark, cloud-swirling gaze. Dead silence filled the air. The situation seemed about to spiral out of control. Under the man's accusing, questioning, angry and grievous gaze, I felt my scalp go numb. In that instant, I felt like the heartless scoundrel in stories who abandons her husband and children. No. I quickly dismissed this absurd thought. From ahead came the sound of footsteps. The 50 male companions, upon seeing me, rushed over eagerly like dogs seeing a bone. They were all dressed flamboyantly, their little mouths calling out, Your Highness, one after another, sweet, soft and sticky. No, rather, they were striking poses and throwing flirtatious glances at me. There was a stunningly talented scholar in white. There was a powerful young gentleman. There was a slender, delicate, elegant youth. For a moment I was dazzled. A chilly wind blew past. I slowly came back to my senses and met the man's gloomy gaze, my lips slightly trembling. This is bad. Lu Yunjing left. He was driven away by anger. As he left, he gritted his teeth and said, "The princess must remember to take care of your health, not overexert yourself lest you exhaust your body." He returned my own words to me. Compared to the rumors of licentiousness circulating outside, these words could even be considered gentle. Half a month later at the prayer ceremony, I saw Lu Yunjing again. At that time, Lu Yunjing was wearing the ceremonial robes, with tassels and adornments, the colors matching his rank. He made many noble young ladies blush. After the incense burning and worship, I followed the emperor younger brother down from the high platform. Just when the sky was clear and sunny, the sound of a breaking arrow suddenly shot towards us. My eyes narrowed, and I immediately pulled my younger brother's arm to dodge it. The sharp arrow struck the incense burner used for prayers, scattering ashes all over the ground. All the civil and military officials were greatly alarmed. Lu Yunjing, snapping back to his senses, immediately drew his sword along with the Imperial Guard commander. "Protect His Majesty!" Black-clad assassins leaped out from above, heading straight for the young emperor's throat. The scene quickly descended into chaos. The sound of clashing weapons formed a melody of bloodshed. These assassins were clearly carefully prepared dead soldiers, their skills 100 times more troublesome than ordinary assassins. I led the young emperor to hide behind the central stone pillar of the main hall, planning to find a chance to escape. But before I could catch my breath, a cold glint flashed. A black-clad assassin stood before me and the young emperor, raising his sword to thrust towards me. My mind went blank for an instant. Next moment, a pale, slender hand suddenly gripped the blade tightly. My eyes widened. I saw Shen Huaiji had somehow stepped in front of me. No matter how the assassin exerted force, the sword could not advance an inch further. As blood dripped down and the sound of bones breaking echoed, Shen Huaiji's face grew paler. I don't know where I found the strength, but I kicked the assassin away. Shen Huaiji let go. His scholarly body seemed to lose all strength instantly and collapsed. I hurriedly caught him. The world quieted. The sounds of fighting around, the clashing of cold steel, the heart-wrenching pleas for mercy, all seemed to become background noise. Out of the corner of my eye, I only saw Lu Yunjing cleanly slit an assassin's throat, then rush towards us in a panic. Seeing this scene, the man's tall, straight figure stood still, rooted to the spot for a long time. Under the harsh sunlight, it looked particularly lonely. Half a month passed since the incident at the prayer ceremony. The emperor's younger brother sent people to investigate thoroughly, but there had been no news. During these 2 weeks, I stayed at the princess manor and hadn't seen Lu Yunjing once. No more rumors came from the general's manor about Lu Yunjing indulging in wine and pleasure, and no more reports came to the princess manor about Lu Yunjing keeping watch outside its gates. It was only said that Lu Yunjing had changed his previous conduct and was focused on training soldiers in the military camp. Qianing went to the camp a few times. She was even driven out. One night, I had just received a secret letter from a guard and ordered Ingyue to prepare paper and brush to reply. When I heard loud commotion outside, I frowned. What's going on? The steward of the princess manor came in to report that Zissou, a maid from the general's manor, had forced her way in, desperately wanting to see me. Before he finished speaking, Zissou's mournful crying came from outside. Your Highness, I beg you to see our general. I beg your Highness to go see the general. My heart tightened. I put down the brush and inkstone, went out, and saw Zissou kneeling outside. What's wrong with Lu Yunjing? Zissou's face was covered in tears, her forehead even bruised and bleeding from kowtowing as she sobbed. The general, he. I anxiously ordered a horse prepared and returned to the general's manor at the fastest speed. Entering the manor, I went straight to the Songzhu court. The Songzhu court originally had large patches of pine and bamboo, but now most were cut down at the waist. Mixed with mud and bamboo leaves, the ground was a mess, the broken ends of the plants showing clear sword marks. Before I could recover from my shock, crash! A wine jar shattered at my feet, accompanied by the sudden sound of a sword cutting through the air. Sharp, fierce, and seemingly carrying a storm. Under the moonlight, The man wore black casual clothes reeking of alcohol. His long sword was like a rainbow, like a white snake spitting its tongue, hissing through the wind. Sometimes light as a swallow pointing upwards, sometimes sudden as lightning falling leaves swirling. Silver light rose with each move, his aura capable of swallowing mountains and rivers. I stood still, watching quietly with lowered eyes. Lu Yunjing seemed to notice me. Swish! The sword tip suddenly leaped to right in front of me. My brow twitched, but I did not dodge. The sword pointed directly at my throat. I met Lu Yunjing's dark, night-like eyes. They were like an abyss, threatening to devour me completely. The night was terrifyingly silent. Leaves rustled down from above my head. Yingyue stepped forward to intervene. I stopped her with a look. The courtyard was silent. Only the two of us remained between heaven and earth, confronting each other wordlessly. A long time passed. With a clatter, the silver snow sword slipped from the man's hand. Lu Yunjing's gaze locked onto me. He strode directly towards me, his strong, powerful hands grabbing my waist, effortlessly lifting me onto the nearby stone table. Under the moonlight, he leaned over me, blocking the light from above. His eyes were bloodshot, full of oppressive force, domineering and allowing no refusal. The smell of wine assailed me. I began to realize the man before me was dangerous. I tried to struggle and get up. The man suddenly gripped my jaw. "Why are you dodging?" Why dodge? Is it because I'm not Shen Huaiji? What is so good about Shen Huaiji that you keep thinking about him? Why wasn't I the first by your side when you were in danger? What happened between you and Shen Huaiji when you went to his manor these past 2 weeks? Me? ? By the moonlight overhead, I clearly saw countless emotions flash in the man's eyes. Questioning, confusion, pain, struggle, reluctance, despair. Various indescribable emotions. Finally, his bloodshot eyes condensed into a single tear, falling from the corner of his eye. In my whole life I had never seen Lu Yunjing cry. Not when old General Lu passed away, not when his youngest sister died in childbirth, not when he was covered in wounds on the battlefield. I had never seen him shed a single tear. But before me a tear traced down his cheek. This tear was like an invisible hand, twisting my heart, making it ache with a sour, swollen feeling. I reached out, gently touching his cold, handsome face. His dark eyes locked on me, staring unblinkingly at my face. Meeting the man's deep, dark gaze, I gently pressed my lips to the corner of his mouth. In that instant, the man, like an enraged lion, was instantly soothed. He suddenly grasped the back of my neck, taking control, and kissed me back as if devouring me. My breath grew rapid, my heart trembled. Finally, the man abruptly lifted me horizontally into his arms, striding with large steps towards the bed in the Songzhu court. It must be said, Lu Yunjing had indeed been holding back for a long time. This night, I only felt like I was on a chopping board being flipped over and over. Actually, this wasn't the first time for Lu Yunjing and me. The first time traced back to an incident after my marriage when I accidentally met Shen Huaiji in the palace. That day, the palace servants were all around. I spoke less than 5 sentences to him, the longest one being a remark about how beautiful the flowers in the imperial garden were. After returning, Lu Yunjing, for some reason, got inspired and wanted to play a poetry game with me. The loser drinks. I had never lost at poetry contests, but I didn't expect. Although Lu Yunjing was a military man, he was also very knowledgeable about poetry and actually managed to get me thoroughly drunk. Half drunk and half awake. Lu Yunjing held me, and I didn't resist. We were husband and wife after all. He wasn't bad-looking, and I wasn't at a loss. He was quite good in that aspect. Although a military man, he was surprisingly gentle. This time was the second. He was somewhat rough. By the time the eastern sky showed the first light of dawn, I fell asleep, exhausted and barely conscious. Waking again, the bed was empty. Yingyue, while having bathwater prepared for me, said, "The general went to court early in the morning. I heard the general was in a good mood today." Even when Minister Lu implicitly criticized the general for being coarse and rude, the general didn't get angry. On normal days, the general would have drawn his sword right in the hall. "Your Highness, it seems the general's treatment of you is not as cold as the rumors say." I let out a tired hum and waved my hand, dismissing Yingyue. After bathing, I ordered the servants to renovate the Songju court. But someone always ruined my good mood. Just as I had someone place a new stone table, I saw Channing in purple running towards this place. Seeing me, she was first startled, then concealed the venom in her eyes and gave me a soft, delicate bow. This humble one originally came to find His Highness. I didn't expect to find the princess sister here. Previously, the general stayed at my Xiangya court every night, which has left me quite exhausted lately. But thankfully the princess sister was here last night, truly troubling you. I frowned. Ingwe immediately stepped forward and slapped Channing hard across the face. How dare you? Princess Wen Yuan is the biological elder sister of His Majesty the Emperor. What are you to presume to call the princess sister? Channing screamed and fell to the ground. A cold, deep voice suddenly sounded. What happened? Everyone looked towards the source. Lu Yunjing, still in his court robes, slowly walked over. The man was in dark clothes, black hair, a jade crown, his sword-like eyebrows sweeping towards his temples, his phoenix eyes naturally imposing, his aura oppressive. The moment Channing saw Lu Yunjing, her face immediately became tearful like a pear blossom in the rain. General, Channing said, it's not the princess's fault. It's this humble one who overstepped, not knowing my place. The man looked down at her. Under everyone's expectant gaze, his voice was low and faint. You indeed do not know your place. Someone. He raised his hand, ordering his subordinates. Dismiss the servants around Miss Channing and move all her belongings to the Dongli court. Do not disturb the princess's peace. Channing was incredulous. The subordinates, perhaps accustomed to Lu Yunjing's past favor towards Channing, were also stunned for a long time before snapping back to action. For nearly 2 months after this incident, my relationship with Lu Yunjing grew increasingly better. The pastries I used to love most, he personally learned to make for me. The golden thread namu flowers I liked in my youth, he traveled far to find for me. The Huai brocade from Shu I most desired, he spent heavily to acquire. Rumors spread that the princess and the general were inseparable, and there was no truth to the divorce rumors. Those who bet on the princess and general divorcing went around with long faces, as if mourning their own parents. And I made a hefty profit. One day, Lu Yunjing went to the military camp. I was in the Songju court, sewing the sleeve of an inner garment for Lu Yunjing. Ingwe came close and whispered in my ear, Your Highness, something has happened. What is it? The one in the Dongli court seems to be pregnant. I was stunned, then put down the needle and thread, stood up and ordered, To the Dongli court. I took the maids to the Dongli court. That time, Lu Yunjing had already returned from the camp and was standing by Channing's bedside. The doctor by the bed seemed to have just finished taking her pulse and stood up, instructing, Madam's body is weak, remember to take good care to nourish it, which will help protect the pregnancy. I will prescribe some calming medicine for the pregnancy. Channing smiled happily. Thank you, doctor. After speaking, she looked at Lu Yunjing again. General, we are going to have a child. Lu Yunjing pressed his thin lips together, silent. I frowned, stared fixedly for a moment, then turned and walked away. Inside the room, Lu Yunjing seemed to hear the footsteps and quickly followed. Noticing him following, I walked even faster. My speed was naturally no match for Lu Yunjing's. The man's large hand suddenly grabbed my wrist firmly, pulling me back. Turning my head, I saw the man's flustered face. He seemed to want to pull me into his embrace. But I struggled fiercely, my nail-polished fingers leaving bloody scratches on his wrist and neck. Slap! I slapped him. Lu Yunjing seemed stunned by the slap, standing dazed. I just looked at him mockingly. The general should not have followed. It would be better to take good care of Miss Channing. I turned to leave. Lu Yunjing suddenly grabbed my hand. Qingqing, listen to my explanation. What more is there to explain? Things aren't what you think. Then what are they? The child isn't mine. Lu Yunjing blurted out in desperation. Finally willing to say it? I concealed my slightly curved lips, pretending not to know. What does the general mean? It's a long story. Then make it short, General. Qingqing. The young general, who never changed expression on the battlefield. Now he was actually trembling, looking at me cautiously. If I tell you, promise me you won't be angry. I only said, Speak first, then I'll listen. Lu Yunjing took a deep breath before daring to look at me intently. Actually, Qianing is someone I found to make you jealous. I have never touched her. The child cannot be mine. As he spoke, he watched my expression. Me? Oh. Lu Yunjing. You're not angry with me? I leisurely opened my lips. Why should I be? Perhaps my expression was too casual. The impressive 8-foot-tall man, under the sunlight, actually broke out in a cold sweat on his forehead. The man suddenly hugged me tightly. Qingqing, I was wrong. I won't dare again. I shouldn't have used her to test your feelings. From now on, I will only be good to you alone, only love you with all my heart. Qingqing, never leave me. Okay. Qingqing isn't angry, she must not care about me. It doesn't matter. Whether Qingqing cares about me or not, as long as she stays by my side, that's enough. I should be content. What a fool. Out of his sight, I curved my lips and nodded lightly. Okay. In that moment, Lu Yunjing held me tightly, overjoyed like a child. Distant wind chimes rang, the warm sunlight showered down. The weather was cooling, another year was ending. The time was beautiful. Lu Yunjing suddenly remembered something again, leaning close to my ear and whispering. By the way, I found out later that Qianing, After he finished speaking, I thought of the secret letter I had received and couldn't help but become solemn. After the prayer ceremony came the Lantern Festival. The young emperor held a palace banquet, inviting ministers to celebrate together. During the feast, he didn't forget to look at me and ask with a smile, "Are the 50 male companions I bestowed upon you to your liking, elder sister? If you're not satisfied, I will search the whole world for you, definitely finding ones that please you. My younger brother really knows how to stir trouble." Sure enough, I saw Lu Yunjing's face darken as he looked at me. I could only say, "Your Majesty, you jest. I have already sent those male companions away." The young emperor was surprised. Why? I glanced at Lu Yunjing beside me, then smiled and said, "The general is already enough." Lu Yunjing's face instantly brightened. The young emperor was stunned for a moment, then laughed heartily. "Ha ha ha, since elder sister says so, I won't interfere anymore." The young emperor then looked at Lu Yunjing. "I hope the general will treat my elder sister well and not let her down." Lu Yunjing stood up and bowed. "I dare not." The atmosphere was harmonious. After the banquet, I was a bit tipsy. Lu Yunjing helped me into the carriage. On the way back, I leaned against the carriage window, watching the lanterns outside. The man beside me suddenly spoke. "Qingqing. Are you really not angry with me?" I turned to look at him. Lu Yunjing's eyes were deep, his gaze fixed on me. "I used Qianing to test you, are you really not angry?" I smiled lightly. "I am angry." Lu Yunjing's eyes instantly dimmed. I continued. "But I know you are sincere to me." Lu Yunjing's eyes lit up again. He held my hand tightly. "Qingqing, I will never let you down." I nodded. "I know." The carriage slowly moved forward. The lanterns outside the window were like a river of stars. I leaned against Lu Yunjing's shoulder, feeling an unprecedented sense of peace. Perhaps this is happiness. The Lantern Festival ended. I returned to the Princess Manor. Lu Yunjing was called back to the General's Manor by an urgent matter. I was in the study reading a book. Suddenly Yingyue hurried in. "Your Highness, something has happened." I put down the book. "What is it?" Yingyue said. "The one in the Dongli court. She's gone." I frowned. "Gone?" Yingyue nodded. "Yes, just now the General's Manor sent someone to report that Miss Qianing has disappeared." I fell silent for a moment, then said, "Send someone to find her." Yingyue responded and was about to leave. I stopped her. "Wait." Yingyue turned back. "Your Highness, what are your orders?" I said. "Send someone to keep an eye on Prince Ming's manor." Yingyue was stunned. "Your Highness suspects?" I nodded. "Yes." Yingyue's expression turned serious. "Understood." After Yingyue left, I stood up and walked to the window. Looking at the bright moon outside, I couldn't help but feel a bit uneasy. Qianing's disappearance was definitely not simple. I'm afraid there's a storm coming. Sure enough, 2 days later, news came from the palace. The young emperor was critically ill. I rushed to the palace immediately. In the bedchamber, The young emperor lay on the dragon bed, his face pale. The imperial physicians knelt on the ground, trembling with fear. I stepped forward and asked, "What's going on?" The imperial physician said, "Your Majesty was poisoned." My heart tightened. Poisoned? The imperial physician nodded. "Yes, it's a very rare poison. This humble one is powerless." I clenched my fists. "Who did it?" The imperial physician shook his head. "This humble one doesn't know." I took a deep breath. "Do everything you can to save His Majesty," the imperial physician said. "Yes." I turned and walked out of the bedchamber. Outside the hall, Lu Yunjing was already waiting there. Seeing me come out, he stepped forward. "Qingqing." I looked at him. "Do you know?" Lu Yunjing nodded. "I know." I asked, "Who did it?" Lu Yunjing said, "I'm still investigating." I fell silent for a moment, then said, "I suspect it's related to Prince Ming." Lu Yunjing's eyes sharpened. "I think so too," I said. "Send someone to keep an eye on Prince Ming's manor." Lu Yunjing said, "I've already done so." I nodded. "Okay." Lu Yunjing looked at me. "Qingqing, don't worry. I will definitely find the antidote." I looked at him. "Thank you." Lu Yunjing held my hand. "You and I are husband and wife, no need for thanks." I leaned against his shoulder, feeling an unprecedented sense of exhaustion. Perhaps this is fate. Half a month later, the young emperor's condition worsened. The imperial physicians were at their wits' end. I was in the palace taking care of the young emperor. Suddenly, Yue hurried in. "Your Highness, we've found it." I stood up. "Found what?" Yue said. "The antidote." I was overjoyed. "Really?" Yue nodded. "Yes, the general found it." I said. "Where is he?" Yue said. "Outside the hall." Quickly walked out. Outside the hall, Lu Yunjing was indeed waiting there. Seeing me come out, he stepped forward. "Qingqing." I looked at him. "Have you found the antidote?" Lu Yunjing nodded. "Yes." He took out a small porcelain bottle from his sleeve. I took it and was about to enter the hall. Lu Yunjing stopped me. "Wait." I turned to look at him. "What's wrong?" Lu Yunjing said. "This antidote might have side effects." I frowned. "What side effects?" Lu Yunjing said. "I'm not sure either. The person who gave me the medicine didn't say." I fell silent for a moment, then said, "No matter what, we have to give it a try." Lu Yunjing nodded. "Okay." I turned and entered the hall. Inside the hall, I fed the young emperor the antidote. Not long after, the young emperor woke up. Seeing me, he was first stunned, then smiled. "Elder sister." I was overjoyed. "You're awake." The young emperor nodded. "Yes." I asked, "How do you feel?" The young emperor said, "Much better." I breathed a sigh of relief. "That's good." The young emperor looked at me. "Elder sister, thank you." I smiled. "We are siblings, no need for thanks." The young emperor nodded. "Yes." That moment, Yue hurried in again. "Your Highness, something has happened." I asked. "What is it?" Yue said. "Prince Ming. He's rebelling." My heart tightened. "What?" Yue said. "Prince Ming has led his troops to surround the palace." I took a deep breath. "So it is him." The young emperor struggled to sit up. "Elder sister, what should we do?" I said. "Don't worry, I have a plan." I turned and walked out of the hall. Outside the hall, Lu Yunjing was already waiting there. Seeing me come out, he stepped forward. "Qingqing." I looked at him. "Prince Ming is rebelling." Lu Yunjing nodded. "I know." I asked, "What should we do?" Lu Yunjing said, "I've already deployed troops, we just need to wait for him to fall into the trap." I nodded. "Okay." Lu Yunjing looked at me. "Qingqing, stay in the palace and don't go out." I said. "I want to go with you." Lu Yunjing frowned. "No, it's too dangerous." I said. "I'm not afraid." Lu Yunjing looked at me. "Qingqing." I interrupted him. "I am the Princess of Great Yan. I cannot hide behind others at a time like this." Lu Yunjing fell silent for a moment, then nodded. "Okay." I smiled. "Thank you." Lu Yunjing held my hand. Let's go. I nodded. Okay. Outside the palace. Shen Huaiji was indeed leading his troops, surrounding the palace. Seeing me and Lu Yunjing come out, he smiled. Princess Wen Yuan, General Lu, long time no see. I looked at him. Prince Ming, what is the meaning of this? Shen Huaiji said. What do you think? I said. You want to rebel? Shen Huaiji smiled. Princess Wen Yuan, you are very smart. I said. Why? Shen Huaiji said. Why? Haha, that's a good question. He looked at me. Princess Wen Yuan, do you know? I have liked you since I was a child. But you chose him. He pointed at Lu Yunjing. I said. So you want to use this method to get me? Shen Huaiji said. Yes, as long as I become the emperor, you will be mine. I sneered. Dream on. Shen Huaiji's face darkened. In that case, don't blame me for being ruthless. He waved his hand. Attack! The soldiers behind him immediately charged forward. Lu Yunjing also waved his hand. Kill! The soldiers behind him also charged forward. The two sides instantly engaged in a fierce battle. I stood beside Lu Yunjing watching this scene. My heart was unusually calm. Perhaps. This is the end. The battle was very intense. Both sides suffered heavy casualties. In the end, Lu Yunjing personally captured Shen Huaiji. Shen Huaiji looked at me. Princess Wen Yuan, I lost. I said. You were destined to lose from the start. Shen Huaiji smiled. Is that so? I said. Yes. Shen Huaiji said. Princess Wen Yuan, can you tell me one thing? I said. What is it? Shen Huaiji said. Have you ever liked me? I said. No. Shen Huaiji laughed self-deprecatingly. I see. He looked at Lu Yunjing. General Lu, you win. Lu Yunjing said. I have never considered you my opponent. Shen Huaiji's expression changed. What did you say? Lu Yunjing said. You are not worthy. Shen Huaiji was furious. You! Lu Yunjing interrupted him. Take him away. The soldiers stepped forward and took Shen Huaiji away. I looked at Lu Yunjing. Thank you. Lu Yunjing held my hand. You and I are husband and wife, no need for thanks. I smiled. Yes, Lu Yunjing said. Let's go back. I nodded. Okay. After this incident, the court was cleansed. The young emperor's health gradually recovered. My relationship with Lu Yunjing grew even stronger. One day, I was in the princess manor enjoying the flowers. Suddenly, Yue hurried over. Your Highness, something has happened. I asked. What is it? Yue said. The general. He's gone to the battlefield. I was stunned. What? Yue said. The northern frontier is in turmoil again, and the general has been ordered to lead the troops on a campaign. I stood up. When did he leave? Yue said. Just now. I quickly walked out. I'm going to see him off. Yue said. Your Highness, the general said not to see him off. I stopped. Why? Yue said. The general said he doesn't want you to see him off, afraid you will worry. I fell silent for a moment, then said, Okay. I turned and walked back to the room. Sitting in front of the dressing table, I looked at myself in the mirror. Suddenly, I noticed a letter on the dressing table. I picked it up and opened it. It was Lu Yunjing's handwriting. Qingqing, when you see this letter, I have already set off. Don't worry, I will return safely. Wait for me to come back. I held the letter, tears finally falling. Fool. I will wait for you to come back. Always. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, half a year has passed. Lu Yunjing still hasn't returned. I waited every day in the princess manor. Finally, one day, Yue hurried in. Your Highness, the general has returned. I was overjoyed. Really? Yue nodded. Yes, he's already at the city gate. Quickly walked out. At the city gate, I saw Lu Yunjing. He was wearing armor, riding a horse, his figure tall and straight. Seeing me, he jumped off the horse and walked towards me. I also walked towards him. We met in the middle. Lu Yunjing looked at me. Qingqing, I'm back. I looked at him. Welcome back. Lu Yunjing held my hand. I've kept you waiting. I shook my head. It's okay. Lu Yunjing said. Qingqing, I have something to tell you. I said. What is it? Lu Yunjing said. I want to resign from my official position and live in seclusion with you. I was stunned. Why? Lu Yunjing said. I'm tired of the life on the battlefield and want to spend the rest of my life with you peacefully. I looked at him. Are you sure? Lu Yunjing nodded. Yes. I smiled. Okay. Lu Yunjing was overjoyed. Really? I nodded. Really? Lu Yunjing held me tightly. Thank you. I leaned against his shoulder. We are husband and wife, no need for thanks. So, Lu Yunjing resigned from his official position. We found a quiet place and lived a life away from the world. Every day, we watched the sunrise and sunset, enjoying the passage of time. Perhaps, this is happiness.
Thank you for listening Beneath the Moonlight. If this story touched your heart, remember to subscribe to Moonlit Love Stories for more tales of love and destiny. Until we meet again, may the moonlight keep you company.